Here we go. This should be a short video. It's just two videos, or two examples. And what I really need you to do is just when you do a problem like this, set it up the way I'm going to show you right now. So we have a citrus fruit company plans to make a 13.25 pound gift box of oranges and grapefruits. Each box is to have a retail value of $21. Each orange weighs 0.5 pounds and has a retail value of 75 cents, while each grapefruit weighs 0.75 pounds and has a retail of $1.25. How many oranges and grapefruits should be included in this box? So you'll notice that we have two things we don't know. We don't know how many oranges and we don't know how many grapefruits. So those are going to be our variables. So I'm going to make a little list here of my variables, and I'm going to just make sure I remember what's what. So let's just say x equals the number of oranges, and y equals the number of grapefruit. Okay? The other thing I want you to make note of are the topics in this, because if you can figure out what two topics they're talking about, you can figure out what your two equations should be about. So one of the topics is the weight of the boxes, the boxes that you're putting together. And the other one is the cost of what you're putting together. And so those two things are going to be the two equations. We're going to come up with an equation that talks about weight, and we're going to come up with an equation that talks about price. So if we look at this, let's focus on the weight. So we want a 13.25 pound gift box. Let's see, an orange weighs half a pound, and a grapefruit weighs 0.75 pounds. So then what we'll do is we will take and write our equation. So if an orange weighs 0.5 pounds, then if we take 0.5 times the number of oranges, that should be how much all the oranges will weigh, plus 0.75 times the number of grapefruits, that'll be how much all the grapefruits weigh. And we want that to equal out to be, what was that again? 13.25. So it equals 13.25. Okay, then we move on to the other topic, which was price. Let me do that in blue to set it apart. Okay, so we want the whole box to be, we want the whole box to be a retail value of $21. An orange costs 75 cents. And a grapefruit costs $1.25. So if we set that up, if we take 0.75 times x, that'll be how much all the oranges cost, plus $1.25 times y will be how much all the grapefruit costs, and that will equal $21. So now we need to solve for this. If we're going to solve this, I guess what I'm looking at is, do I want to use graphing, substitution, elimination? Don't ever choose graphing. Hardly ever choose graphing, I should say. Okay, so then we're looking at either substitution or elimination. The only reason I would go for substitution is if there's a clean variable that's going to be really easy to solve for. And none of our variables are clean. They all have numbers in front. So then I'm looking at elimination. And now that I am looking at elimination, I'm going to have to figure out, do I want to cancel out my x's or do I want to cancel out my y's? And I'm looking at this thinking I want to cancel out my x's because those numbers are a little bit easier to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my x's so that they're equal to $1.50. So to do that, I'm going to take my top equation and I'm going to multiply it by 3. And my bottom equation, I'm going to multiply by -2. That way I get one of them to be negative. Alright, now I'll multiply it out. So 3 times 0.5 would be $1.50x. Plus 3.75 would be $2.25. Y equals 3 times 13.25 would be $39.75. And then on the bottom I get a negative $1.50x minus 2 times that would be $2.50. Y equals a negative 42. Alright, so now we look at our x's and they actually do zero pair out. For our y's, we get, let's see, negative 0.25y equals, and then we have 39.75 minus 42. That would be a negative 2.25. Divide everything by negative 0.25. Luckily, our negatives cancel because we can't have negative number of grapefruits. And let's see, y equals, 4, 8, 9. Y equals 9. So the number of grapefruits is 9. And now we want to figure out what is the number of oranges. So we have to pick one of the equations to plug 9 in for, and I think I'm going to plug it in the top one. So we get 0.5x plus 0.75 times 9 equals 13.25. Let's see, it's 0.5x, and of course I have to do this without a calculator. Let's see, $1.50 for 2 of them, so for 4 of them we've got $3, then we've got $6, $6.75 equals 13.25. If I did my math wrong, I apologize. You can catch me on that if you want. Alright, subtract 6.75, we get 0.5x equals, let's see here, 13 minus 6, okay, bummer, I hate this kind of math, guys. Alright, I'm thinking this is going to be 6.5. Hopefully I'm right. Alright, divide by 0.5, divide by 0.5, that'd be 12, 13. So x equals 13. There's going to be 13 oranges. That's a lot of those things. Alright, so we would answer 13 oranges and 9 grapefruit. There would be our answer. Let's go on to the next slide. Alright, so here you're planting a garden with shrubs and perennial plants. Each shrub costs $42 and requires 16 feet squared of space. Each perennial plant costs $6 and requires 8 feet squared of space. You plan to spend a total of $270. How many of each type of plant should you buy to fill the garden? So here we go again. We need to first off talk about our variables. Okay, so the variables we have, we're going to have x be the number of shrubs, and let's have y be the number of perennials. Okay, and then we have our topics. Now this is again important. We have to talk about what topics do they talk about here. Of course they talked about the price of each shrub, and then they talked about the area that they covered, or the space that they covered. Notice the square feet stuff. So we have those two that we're going to be using to make our equations. So let's see, you're planting, okay, let's start with our price. Each shrub costs $42. So then we're going to take 42x plus, each perennial costs $6, so we'll take 6y equals, and then all of that cost, we wanted to spend up to $270. Alright, then let's go to the area. A shrub requires 16 square feet, so we're going to take 16 times the number of shrubs, plus the perennials take 8 square feet, so 8y equals 160 feet squared. Alright, so now we can solve using substitution, elimination, or graphing. Again, I'm going to go straight for elimination. There's no clean variables, and graphing would be horrible here. So then we have to look at canceling out x's or y's, and I think I'm going to go for the y's just because I know those numbers pretty well here. So if I'm going to do that, I need to get so that they both equal 24. That means I'm going to multiply the top by, let's go -4, and the bottom by a +3. Alright, so -4 times 42 would be a -168x minus 24y equals, then -4 times 270, 8, carry the 2, 1080, I hope, negative. And then the bottom, I've got 3 times 16, that would be 48x plus 24y equals 3 times 160 would be 480. Okay, continue solving. Now we'll put the two equations together. The y's cancel out. This would be a -120x equals -600. Divide by -120, divide by -120, x equals 5. So there's going to be 5 shrubs. And if there's 5 shrubs, we can go ahead and solve for y. I'm going to use this equation right here. So I have 16 times 5 plus 8y equals 160. 16 times 5 would be 80, plus 8y equals 160. Subtract 80 from both sides. 8y equals 80. Divide by 8. Y equals 10. So there's going to be 10 perennials. So then we should actually answer this and say 5 shrubs, 10 perennials. All right, now you got to do a bunch. Good luck.